after understanding how do we deal with frames and iframes and the links and the navigation, how to manage them. Now today we will see another important, that is working with once you contact our admin Nikhil, he will send you those details. Yeah? Yeah. Right. So last session we done with all the links and working with the links. Now today we will see how to use tables in HTML. Tables in HTML. The purpose of tables and how do we deal with the tables in HTML. So I think all of you were able to design and work with frames and iframes easily. You have no issues now? Am I right? Were you able to practice them? There are no problems, right? You practiced both frames and iframes related concepts. Huh? You done with that exercise? Huh? What we discussed in the class. Everyone clear with them? Huh? Everyone clear with those topics? You have no issues? Right. Okay, good. So then let's continue with the other options. So today we will see how we can work with tables. Actually, tables generally, tables are used to organize our content into rows and columns. Organize our content into rows and columns. So actually, before HTML5 up to HTML4 version, we need to design the complete page structure using table only. So if you look at websites built before HTML5, complete tables, everything is present in table only. But now everything is designed in div and spans. So tables are used just to organize the information in rows and columns, like presenting data in grid form, right? For presenting the data in grid form. So with the CSS, we can make tables responsive, right? So for presenting the data in rows and columns, presenting the data in a grid form, so we generally require tables. Tables have a lot of tags and a lot of attributes also. So what are tables? That means the tags used for tables. So many tags are there for tables. How we can handle them? So a lot of tags are there for tables. So let's see. So how we can design the tables, what are the options for the tables, right? Working with the tables, right? Yeah. You have any doubt towards the end of session, let me know about it. Okay, right. Now this is the table. What are the various options for the tables? Let's see. Tables related tags. So many tags are there. Actually, table is divided into several sections, which I will show you. For tables, what the basic tags we are having is, so tag and description. Okay. So what are the tags we are having for table? For that, we have a table tag first. This is to encapsulate, to encapsulate, encapsulate all rows and columns. So actually, it is a container with the caption, header, body, and footer. With footer. That is what actually container. It's a container. So in that caption is it is used to define a caption. Define a caption for table. Caption for table. And T head. It defines the table header section. How to design we will see. T body. This is the table body section. So it defines the table body section. The table body section. And we have T footer. We have T footer. So this it defines the table footer section. And we have call group. Actually, it groups a set of columns to define styles. And we have TR. This is, so it specifies a table row. It defines a table row. And TH, it defines header text. And TD, that defines table cell content. So what the content to be there inside the cell content, right? That is actually the table related basic tags that we have. The table related basic tags we are having. Now important is how we can use this. What are those? I will show you. So basic architecture, how it actually looks like. Then we can design them. Generally, when we are designing tables, suppose we have this. Yeah. Now, this is a table container actually. So this is a table container. That means we define by using table. And table ends at the end here. It is a table container. In the table container, usually we can have a caption. Actually, caption comes here. So caption comes here. So you can put a caption. Caption comes here. That means inside the table, caption comes here. Means in the center, the caption will be displayed. After that, the table usually contains three sections here inside the table. So the table contains three sections here. So what are the sections inside the table? So we have the top header section and body section and footer section actually. Now this section is defined by using T head. T head is the header section. And this section obviously T head will end. T head will end. So that means the table head section will end. Similarly, we have T body. This is the body section. And usually T body ends. Table body ends there. We have a footer section. So this is footer section, T foot. And obviously the footer ends there. Obviously the table footer ends there. So that means this is the footer section. And I just given here T foot. Footer section ends. Now important is in the head, body and footer, we need rows. Then rows are defined by using TR, that is rows. Rows are defined by using TR. So we have table row and usually the row ends here, TR ends here. Actually, we have a row in the head, we have a row in the body, we have a row in the body. You can have multiple rows. And we have a row in the footer. We have a row in the footer. That means we have row in the footer section. That means we have rows in table, header, body, and footer. Here we have footer. So that is row. In the row, we need cells. If you want ordinary cells, then we can define cells inside the row. Because in the row, data is displayed in cells. Cells are displayed with TD. That means that is first cell. And TD, that is second cell, like this. You can add any number of cells. This is first cell, this is second cell. So we can keep the cells inside every row. Every row contains cells. Every row contains cells. Second row contains cells. Third row contains cells. Every row contains cells. Header row also, in the head section, there is a row. There also it can contain cells. It can contain cells. But in the bottom also it can contain cells, right? In the bottom footer also it contains cells. But generally in the header section, the cells should be different, like bold headings. We want headings. If you don't want headings, you can keep normal. If you want headings, then heading related cells are defined by using TH. TH is table heading cell. And you can define TH, table heading cell. Just like heading, table heading cells will have a separate font. Table heading cells will have a separate color, separate style, right? So that is just the header sections if you want a special appearance. Otherwise, directly you can put TD inside head also, right? So table contains three groups actually. I will tell you where to use call group where to use. So this is actually table basic structure. So the basic structure of the table. So this is the basic structure of table. So how it organizes information, that is the basic structure. So that is the basic structure of table here. This is the basic structure of table. It's how it organizes information, right? That's how it organizes information inside it. Now, important is how to design and what are the attributes for this. What are the various attributes for this? Tables will have a lot of attributes. We need to understand them. First, we will design them and see how they look. Basic point we understood, the table will have a caption. Table will have three sections: head, body, and footer. And headings you can define, and in all sections you will have rows and cells. If you want special heading cells, then you can keep with TH. Otherwise, you can go with TD. Let's see how we can design this in our application. So I am configuring this. Okay, so in our page, yeah, let's create a separate design. I will add a new file, tables.html. Okay. Now in tables HTML, so we are defining. So here doc type HTML. I'm adding doc type HTML. Okay, then HTML, head and title. So tables in HTML. And let's keep the body section here. Okay. Now we are designing the table here. Let's just keep here a table. Inside table, we have a caption, and the caption says some products data. Okay, here we define that products data. Or I'm just adding some options like, yeah, here I'm just adding options like shopping cart, something. Okay. And below this caption, we are adding T head in the TR row. You can have any number of rows in header because sometimes header contains 2-3 main headings, subheadings like that, subtitles, titles. So here I have a row inside the header. Okay. Similarly, we have T body, and row inside table body. And we have T foot, and we have a row inside table footer. So now in the head section, I have want some special headings. Then TH I am using there in the T row, table row. This is using name, and table header, I said price. We have name and price. Okay. And here we have preview. And here we are adding some actions. So just we are defining some actions. So or simply I said, yeah. So this is actions. Okay. We can go into several options there. We will discuss about that, right? Initially, here, this is a table. This is the table header row. And below this, we have a body section. In the body section, we want the cells. Here we will define TD. That is the first row. In that row, first cell. Because now, how many columns are present? How many columns are present? 4 columns are present. In the header, how many TH you have mentioned, those number of columns will come. So we have 4 columns. So here we need to create 4 cells. One cell under name. So I want some name, some JBL speaker. In the next cell, that is under price, some price. I will use ampersand hash 8377 semicolon. That will get a currency symbol, Indian currency symbol. And here I will define some photo. Photo is image, IMG, SRC. So it is images, and JBL speaker, and width 50, and height also 50. Width and height I defined them. We kept a picture there. And here we have another cell. And usually in this cell, you can see actions are there. Here I will put a font awesome. Link relation is equal to style sheet. Href is fonts, CSS, all.css. And from font awesome, I will just keep here a symbol span and class FA, and FA trash. I'm using trash, FA trash. So that is the symbol. Trash symbol is there. Actually, we can put a button there. Buttons we will see later. So forms and all we will design later. Currently, this is one row. You can add any number of rows in the same way. I will copy and paste. In the second row, I'm just defining shirt, and here price, and shirt.jpg. And third row, I'm adding some, so shoe, Nike casuals. And here I defined some shoe, and here price, and same. This is at the top, we are having this. Now at the bottom, I'm adding a cell. And here I'm just using ampersand copyright 2020 Amazon, something like this. Later, we will put some other options, bill summaries and all such data we can define here. Or I will just keep here as, so bill summary. Here we are not doing any calculation part. That is not there any calculation part. So just temporarily, I'm adding here ampersand hash 8377 semicolon. And I'm just temporarily saying some 23,000 like this, right? So just an outline defined here. But you observe here, so we have 4 columns, and every row is having those 4 column related options. In the footer row, we have only 2 options. Now let's see this table, how it looks like. So let's take a look at this table. Currently, we are not using any attributes for table. Just a table is designed. We are not using any attributes for the table, just a table is designed. So then you can see when I run this, you can observe that the table, it will show like this. It will show like this. So it is just having an ordinary. So now it doesn't have a proper presentation of rows and columns. Just we have some information. So here important is by learning the attributes, we can make the presentation perfectly. We can make the presentation perfectly. For that, we need to learn some attributes of table. And table related, one more option is pending here. In the table, usually after you define the caption, you can define a column group, column group. This call group contains how many columns to group. That means we have to use span. Call group span is equal to one column to group. So here I want to group only one column, that is name column. And what style you want to apply to that group, you need to give some style. That means I'm defining style. Style, I will say background color, some color. So that means I defined some light gray, light pink, some color. And you can see that when you define that, you can see the left column will have that color. So the left column is having that color, right? How many columns to group? Suppose I want from right column, from left column. For that, we need to use styles actually, styles. Initially, you can group. Suppose I say span is equal to 2, then it will get up to 2 columns that color. So you can apply for the 2 columns, the color can be defined. I'm just defining span is equal to 1. Then it will get only to the name, So how many columns to group and what effects you want to apply? Remember, if you don't give style, if I don't give style, I'm removing style temporarily. If I don't give style, you don't have any appearance there. Column group, you cannot see. If there are at least borders, rows, then you can see it. It's not mandatory to give style. If you give a proper rows and borders, then it will show you. I will show that. Initially, call group is 1. And you can't see that column group directly now. You are unable to see that directly here. So how we can make this better? What are the attributes? What are the options available? So let's see one by one all the attributes, how we can handle them. So for table, how we can set the attributes correctly. Let's see the attributes for table. This is basic table. I will copy this and I will paste this example here. I will paste that example here. So this is a basic example. Without any effects, we designed it. So it is having just a simple table and with all the sections that we have mentioned. That means we designed table which is having all these sections. So it is having all these sections. like table, like caption, T head, T body, T foot. So call group, T table row, table header, table cell. All these are present in this design. We have used all of them, but still the appearance need to be perfect. Then generally table can use lot of attributes, can use a lot of attributes, table attributes. So what are the table attributes and how we can use those table attributes? Let's see category wise how we can use table attributes. Actually, table attributes, we have borders, border, comma, frame, border, frame, and rules. The first one, border, frame, and rules. Actually, to define border, frame, and rules, so we usually have to define the border, frame, and rules. We usually have an attribute called border attribute. So we have a frame attribute. We have rules attribute. Rules attribute. So we are having the attributes. We are having the attributes border, frame, rules. These are the attributes here. What is the purpose of these attributes? What is border? What is frame? And what is rules? Actually, border, it defines border. It defines border for cells. It defines border for cells. Frame, it defines a frame for table. Defines a frame for table. Rules, it defines rules for rows and columns. I will show you clearly. So table has border and frames. We have three important options. So border, frame, and rules. Let's see what are these and how to configure them. So what these are and how to configure them. Actually, when you are defining border, so when we are defining the border, so we are configuring the border. Actually, border have two values to define, 0 or 1. So table border, frame, and rule. I will show you here. See, let's observe these three things and we will see the attributes. Temporarily, to get a clarity here, temporarily, I am currently using an attribute for the table width. Width is equal to 100%. So it sets the table width to 100% from left to right. Later I will give you separately about width option. And you can see currently, so this is the table. And in the table, we have just only width defined. Width is defined. Now let's see how to use these options. Border, frame, and rules, how to configure them, right? Actually, we have a table can have a frame. Frame is for entire table, means a table outline. So a frame is for only table outline. And frame usually have some important attributes. What are the attributes for frame? So actually you can define frame with the values. So with the values, you can define frame with the values. What are the values you can define for frame? Actually, you can use the values for frame as box. You can use the value as frame as RHS, LHS, LHS, and you can use above, and you can use below. So you can also use frame as void. So these are the values. These are the values for frame. So that means actually we can define. You can define. Yeah. For frame, you can define values as box, RHS, LHS, above, below, and void. I will show you here how we can use them. We will see that. So I will go to the frame. I am defining as box. Frame as box. You can see here an outside box came here. You can see box. So as I told you, frame is for, it defines a frame for table. It defines a frame for table. That means it will apply for entire table. You can see it is applying box. That means it is applying for entire table. You can define the frame. You can define the frame as void. Void means it is removed. Frame is removed. You have no frame. Generally, sometimes if you want frames on and off, then dynamically you need a void option. I can use box, then it will keep a box. Not only box, frame can be defined with above frame. That means you can see only top frame will be there. That means after the shopping cart caption, only above frame is there. You can keep the frame. See, if I am writing below, above space below, it will not get, because only one attribute you can give. So we can put below, only one value it will accept. I can keep below. Now obviously we will have doubt how to get only above and below. For that you need to use CSS styles, that I will show you in styles, how to set borders, border colors, border styles and all. Initially HTML have frame with above below, or you can use LHS. That means left hand side. You can see left hand side frame is there. That means for this name column, left hand side a frame will come. You can keep RHS, right hand side. You can see right side frame will come. Sometimes when we keep tables side by side, for first table we want right hand side frame. For second table we want left hand side table, so that cleanly tables are separated actually. We use in different occasions, we will see that. So frame have these attributes. And finally you can keep box. That is the frame. So we have values as, we can put frame values as box, RHS, LHS, above, below, and void. That is the frame. Rules can be defined for, it defines rules for rows and columns. Actually, you can define rules with values. You can define rules with values. Rules have values. What are the values for rules? We can use rows, we can use calls, we can use groups, or you can use none. You can define these values. Rules can be defined with rows, calls, and groups and none. That means now see here, after setting the frame, so currently only frame is there. Then I am writing here rules. Rules is equal to calls. That means it will set the rules for columns. Columns rules will come. Why last two are not there? Because last two cells are not there now. That means here actually we defined only two cells. Okay, temporarily we will keep one cell above empty. Empty means ampersand NBSP. Later we will learn merging, how to merge and all. And right side another cell ampersand NBSP. So a space blank. Now you can see that is there. So now left side, so bill summary is just kept in the center of this, right? We kept that here. You can keep anywhere, right? So where you want the bill summary defined. Later we will see separation here. This is actually for, yeah. Suppose I keep both of them at the below, then it will be organized in this way. Bill summary and total amount. Right. Just roughly we given some amount. So you cannot have any total of this like Excel, right? It is just your designed one, everything. Remember here rows, here columns is coming. That means here we are having the rules for columns. We can define the rules. We can define the rules for rows. We can define the rules for rows. You can see for rows, rules will come. For rows, rules will come. This time you can see rows. Actually, you can give all. That means you can also add all. All is also a value. That means it will get both rows and columns. So that means if I am defining, so rules as all. And you can see it will get rules for both rows and columns. It will get rows and columns. So table has information here arranged in rows and columns. Now important is rules can be defined for rows, defined for columns, defined for all, or you can define for groups only. Actually, our table is having some groups like header group, body group. Remember, every table may not have groups. Sometimes we design table directly with row, directly with row and cells without header and all. Such tables I will show you now. We will design all of them, right? Different situations, different tables are used actually. Now see here, when we configured this, now you can see groups are separated clearly now. You can observe that. Call group, now you can see call group, it spans one. Call group is spanning one, right? And you can see call group span one. I said two. Now you can see that moves to here. So I say three, then it moves here, then it moves here. We can group in this way. That means only right side those options will be defined in this. These three comes under one category. So we can cleanly separate the, we can group. That means header one group, body one group, footer one group. Remember, you cannot apply, you cannot apply, this is very important, you cannot apply groups and see them if there are no groups in your table. You don't have groups in table. That means call group, header, body, sections. These are called groups. If you don't have groups, then this will not work. Groups will not work. So this is for rules. So we can have a frame, we can have rules. We can have frames and rules. Now, important, what is another point is, one more option you need to know is, you can define rules. Yeah. Another option is, uh, rules cannot be defined for table when it is specified with border. That is another part. When it is specified with border, you cannot define rules. Rules cannot be defined for table when it is specified with border. When a table is specified with border, you cannot have rules. So why? Because border will be defining for cells. You can see now, you can see here. Actually, rules is there. I will remove these rules and frames and everything here. Observe here, currently it is empty. Nothing is there. I will give here border. Actually, border can be defined with only two values, that is 1 or 0. Don't think that border thickness this is. Actually, this is a Boolean value actually. So that means you should know that here. You should know that. So you can define border value 1 to on the border and 0 so to off the border. So you can use only two values. So on border and 0 to off border, off the border. You can turn on and turn off the border. 1 to on the border and 2 to 0 to off the border. So that means I say 0. That means you can see border is not there. I say 1, and you can see border is there. Actually, you may think, right, this is coming for rows and columns. No, actually border is coming for cells actually. The border is coming for cells. I will show you clearly. Here, observe carefully. If I use 2, thinking that 2 means more thicker, then you can see no difference here. If I say 3, you can see there is no difference here. Even you get 30, that means there will be no difference here. Only frame will come. Borders will not change. Frame will be 30. Actually, this frame we can remove. That is frame. That is not border actually. Frame size will be 30. Actually, if you remove frame is equal to, how to remove frame? Void. I remove the frame. You can see border will be only for cells. Border thickness is not changing. Border will be, observe carefully, border will be for only cell. Every cell have a border. Because if you have frame as box, then you will feel like your border is there. But actually border is not there. I say frame, given as void. Then you can see it will remove that here. If I don't give frame, then automatically it will set a frame with some thickness. Automatically it will set a frame with some thickness. Right? And if I remove that frame, that means how do we remove the frame? So we have to say frame is equal to void. Remove the frame and keep the border 1. That means keep the border. Then it will be in this way. You can see border is for cell. Every cell is having border. Border with the frame. That means if I say frame as box, then it looks like, okay, you have a border. Outside also will come. Actually, frame is only outside that I showed you. If I remove border 0, then observe only frame will be there. So if I put border 1, that means it will be for rows. Here for cells, it will be displayed. For cells, it will display. So that means, so we need a combination here. And observe carefully. I am using rules is equal to groups. Rules is equal to groups. And you can see border is not there now. That means any one can be there, either rules or border. Both cannot be there. So that means you remove the border, then only rules can be defined. So you remove the rules, then only border can be defined. Border can be defined. So that means I defined border 1, then you can get it. That means only one out of these two can be configured. So you can define, right, you can define border value. And important is, so here, if border and rules both are specified, then only rules will display. So that is important. That means if both are defined, then only rules will display. So we need to configure the combination in this way. So example, how we defined here. So we are having a table, and in the table we are using border. I can keep border as 1, and frame is equal to void. That means it will put border. So this will put border for cells only. Right? I can define table. And I can set border as 1, and I can set frame is equal to box. So this is usually for, so border with the frame. We can configure in this way. We can use a table. Border is equal to 0. And the frame is equal to box. That means this will set actually only frame without border. We can use combination table. So border is 0. So you don't need border at all when you are defining rules. Rules is equal to all. Right? Rules is equal to all. Or you say rules is equal to groups. And frame is equal to box. It will set rules with frame. These are different combinations we can actually define and use. And these are the options for configuring them. So this is just to understand how we can design a table. And in this, only first set of attributes you have learned, that is border, frame, and rules. Only these options you have learned. Now we need to know the other options. The other options like spacing, merging, and alignments. So much is there about tables that we will discuss in our next session. Right? Tomorrow we will continue with this. Then by tomorrow, we can see some examples on tables and finish all the attributes for tables. Then you will get clarity on table. Then we can go with another concept, forms, how to work with them, right? Then tomorrow we will continue with this.